Hello, and welcome to At You and I. I'm your host, Christy Eberhardt. Today we will be bringing you some excitement and also some helpful tips to take home with you. We will be sitting down with the owners of local small business TriPie to talk all about how they empower young women in the community. Thank you for joining us, Megan and Sarah.
Thanks so much. We're glad to be here.
Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and the business?
Yeah, we are the directors of TriPie Bakery, and so we run a teen employment program with high school girls in Waterloo.
Awesome. How did you get started with this?
Yeah, it really began before we were working with teens. It really started out of a connection between local churches and nonprofit organizations that were focusing on strengthening the Walnut neighborhood in downtown Waterloo. And so they had done surveys throughout the neighborhood asking community members and neighbors, what are the assets that we have here? What are our hopes and dreams for the future? And out of that, they really heard that parents wanted positive things for their kids to be involved in after school. And I was working with some youth in the area, and they were kind of mostly teen girls who were starting to look for their first jobs. So we brought them together, and they did some research about, what would it look like if we started our own business together. And they went on some field trips and interviewed some local women business leaders and decided that they wanted to start a pie business together. So that's really where we began in 2014, and it's been really exciting to watch how the program's grown and developed since then.
Yeah, what an awesome idea and just coming up with something so cool and unique. What are each of your specific roles in the business?
We tag team a lot. As a small nonprofit, there's a lot of shared responsibility. We did just recently hire a few adult staff that are helping us kind of grow. But for the most part, a lot of things that you would think of with any nonprofit or small business, keeping track of finances, payroll, that kind of thing, but also inventory ordering, program development, fundraising, that kind of stuff. So we try to give the students leadership of some of the pieces that they can take on and learn from as well. So team effort all around.
Could you tell us just a little bit about your storefront menu?
Yeah, in our storefront in downtown Waterloo, we're right across from Lincoln Park. We have whole frozen take and bake pies. So those come in a lot of different fruit flavors and cream pies, and they kind of rotate seasonally. And then we also have mini baked pies that people can just come in and snag one and sit down and eat at our restaurant or take it to go.
Awesome. So I heard that you also have a food truck. Could you just explain how that's run?
Yeah, so that's one of the areas that we kind of try to let the students run with. Students in their third and final year of the program kind of take charge of thinking through what a calendar of events will look like for the summer, scheduling students and keeping track of inventory throughout the summer for that too. So we park at different spots throughout the community, mostly Waterloo, Cedar Falls, some pop-up spots, the Waterloo Urban Farmers Market, a couple Saturdays in the summer. That's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Might have to try and find that truck sometime. So your main goal is to empower just like a diverse group of young women with life and leadership skills through meaningful work. Do you feel like you can guarantee this, or how do you go about that?
I think a lot of our program is centered around these values that we have, and everything that we do, we try to incorporate both in lessons that we teach in our classroom time with them, but also in just day-to-day experiences that we build into the program through their work in the kitchen with each other. So our 4 values are financial literacy. So this is the first paycheck that a lot of them are earning, so helping them set goals and start to practice healthy financial habits with that. The second value of our program is job skill development. So we will bring in people to teach on how to do an interview, how to write a resume, and then also just coming to work and clocking in and working with each other. We hope that value is really imparted in each of them. Faith development is the third one. We're a Christian-based program, and so that's really just talking about the value and the gifts that they each have and helping them discover what those are and have a place to contribute those. And then our fourth one is reconciling community. So this idea that we have a lot of barriers in our community and in our world, and we want Pi to be a place where students from different schools and communities and backgrounds and races can come together and work alongside each other and recognize those gifts and value in each other.
So you talked about bringing them together, like from different places. How do you keep diversity as like a main focus?
Yeah, I think kind of just to add on to what Megan was saying about some of it's pointed and some of it's just kind of integrated into how we operate. It's cool how much you can open up and learn about another person as you're doing something as simple as rolling out a pie crust. And so over time, as those relationships develop and there's safety and comfort in friendship, we're more honest with who we are and how we see the world. And so that happens in the kitchen naturally. We also try to create space to do that more intentionally as well. We invite speakers from the community, local experts on some of those values that Megan was talking about, like financial literacy and job skill development, to share about some of those topics. So just getting different voices in to share about things that we know we all need to learn. Yeah.
We have some clips here from your storefront where we got to experience some behind the scenes activity as well as talk to some of the women on your team. Let's take a look.
Store. This is where people have our interaction. You buy your pies. We have our 4-inch pies and our 3-inch pies in the freezer over there. We do shakes over here and do ice cream back here. Back here, we have our kitchen. Right now they're working on some dough. Pretty much everything happens back here that requires a pie to get made. We do dough from scratch. We make all the filling from scratch. All the crumb is made from scratch, and then everything is assembled in here too. Back through this hallway, we have our pantry area. So we have boxes over here. We started recycling more, so we have like a recycling area. These are just dry ingredients, snacks, and like just other ingredients or miscellaneous stuff that we use. This is where we do our dishes. And this is where our pies are packaged at this table and this table. And this is where our pies are stored in this freezer or this freezer. And our fruit and crumb is stored in this white freezer right here. This is kind of where we gather after school. We talk about what we're gonna do for the day. And then we gather here at the end of our shift and we like pray and close out.
I really like working at Try Pie. I started working here when I was 14 through the summer, and it's just opened doors to like a lot of new people that I've never, like probably wouldn't have the chance to talk to otherwise. So from different schools, different backgrounds, things like that. And it's just a really good experience into the job force without so much pressure, I would say, but still a lot of the really good lessons that you can learn from it. They offer us a 401k. So I've already started my retirement fund. So I think that's definitely helping my future already. I just want to enjoy what I do every day and not feel like I'm forced to do it or be unhappy doing it every day. I definitely think, especially being all girls, I think it gives us a lot better way to express ourselves. We usually talk about anything and everything with each other, and we're super comfortable with each other through the shift, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable. I think the most fulfilling is seeing everything that we do and how it matters. Someone the other day even came in and said they drove an hour just to get here to get pies, and just like things like that make me realize how important everything that we do is and how other people really enjoy what we do, and it makes it all worth it, I feel like.
That's an amazing storefront you have there in Waterloo. Up next, we will be viewing some more sit-downs with other workers at TriPie. But first, an important public service announcement, as well as some helpful cooking tips you can use in your own kitchen.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume, not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We need more businesses to see people as humans when looking to hire, and that can start with you. Here's Late Night Bites.
Hi, I'm Carly, and welcome to Late Night Bites. Tonight we'll be turning up the heat with one of my personal favorite dishes, jalapeno poppers. In order to spice up your night, here's what you'll need.
Jalapenos.
Shredded cheese. Cream cheese. Crescent rolls. And bacon. To start this dish, you'll need to begin by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. Once you've done that, you'll need to begin by taking a baking sheet and lining it with parchment paper or tin foil. Once you've done that, it's time to add our cooking spray to make sure these poppers don't stick. Now that our oven is heating up and our baking sheet is greased and ready to go, I'm gonna get started with our crescent rolls. Now that we've cut our crescent rolls in half, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this bacon and heat it up in the pan behind me. You'll want your bacon to be kind of crispy, giving your poppers a nice crunch. Now that my bacon's heating up over there, I'm gonna move on to prepping the cheese and the jalapenos. You'll want about 4 to 6 jalapenos, depending on how much heat you can handle. But today we're gonna be using 4. Sounds like they're ready. And now it's time to put our poppers to the test. Holy sh**. There's the flavor. There you have it, folks. A poppin' dish that's ready to take your night from 0 to 100 real quick. That's all the time we have left. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Late Night Bites.
She showed us some delicious snacks we can make in the kitchen. Up next is an important public service announcement showing us that we need to step up and help feed our community.
In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you learned a new recipe to save in your back pocket. We have some more questions here for Megan and Sarah, but first, let's sit down with some of the other workers at TriPie.
Started in August as an intern through UNI, and then I graduated in December and then joined staff here. I just think it's a great opportunity that you don't get in high school. Just working with a diverse group of girls gives a lot more opportunity for conversations to be had that maybe are not happening in the workforce, bringing up tough conversations or just having a support system of like a positive atmosphere and just empowering girls, I think is a cool thing, and you don't really see it very often. And I think it makes them a better self by the time they graduate from the programs. I think that TriPie has enabled me to see steps of how that action can be taken. If you have an idea in your head, to actually go for it, because I talked to Sarah and Megan, the directors, and they always mention how they just had the idea and they ran with it. And to me, I'm like, oh man, that is so encouraging. So I think in my mind, when I think of TriPie as like what they've done and what they just wanted to do it and they accomplished it, my biggest goal would tie into that of wanting to hopefully start my own business. I definitely think that TriPie has helped me make it more of a reality and knowing that it's possible.
I like working at TriPie. I started working here in 2019. Working at TriPie, the opportunities it gives me is like more community involvement. The most fulfilling part is when people came in from out of town and are like, oh, we had you guys last summer at the food truck, or they just say how much they like the pies. It's just really good feeling. I guess it brings together people. I've always wanted to open like a breakfast restaurant. It's called like the Misshapen Pancake, and we have like breakfast foods and just like a really casual place. It's kind of cool working here and like getting to know behind the scenes, just the components of owning something like this. I like talking with the girls after school. Like sometimes like we just talk about if we had a bad day, like what went wrong or just accomplishments that we have. We just like cheer each other on. It's really cool. I've made bunches of friends from girls in the past, like people that don't look like me and people that do look like me. I think that's a really cool opportunity, just getting to know about other people's cultures and their backgrounds. I definitely would recommend TriPie to other people.
You have some talented young women on your team over there. I'm sure that makes you proud. I have to ask, what is your favorite thing about running a business like this?
I think there are a lot of great pieces. I think we both went to UNI to study nonprofit management. I didn't think I would ever love running a business, but that piece has actually really grown on me. I think it's really fun to incorporate both, those practical business experiences with like an after-school nonprofit program. Just that intersection is really cool. We call that a social enterprise, just that meeting of business and something with a cause or purpose. And so I think that piece just really excites us, being able to do something fun, make pies. That's really fun to do with our students, and then just to watch them grow and thrive and contribute their own ideas, and to see the way the program really benefits from all that they have to contribute and share there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, small business is such a cool way to be a part of a community, and Waterloo Cedar Falls in combination is just a unique community to be a part of. And so being able to do that both through business and engaging the youth of our community is a lot of fun, and just really meaningful to see how much it needs each other, students and the people.
Tell us just a little bit about like your interactions with the different customers that come into your store.
Yeah, kind of along those same lines, like being a part of downtown Waterloo is really meaningful to us. We started in those early years out of a church kitchen in Cedar Falls, which was a huge blessing, able to grow in a lot of ways and learn a lot of pie pieces. But as we grew and kind of felt some of the growing pains of a larger program and a larger business, we were looking for a space of our own. So when we were considering where to go, downtown Waterloo made a lot of sense. We saw a lot of value in joining in and being a part of that community. And a lot of our students come from both Waterloo and Cedar Falls, but there was something really attractive to the idea of being in and with and alongside what was happening there, and affirming that as we affirmed our students.
So you're both doing an amazing job with this business and being very inclusive within the community, as you've been talking about. Is there anything that you would say to other businesses that just like wanted to work on being more inclusive and utilizing the skills of the younger generations?
Yeah, I think we are really intentional in hiring students that come from different schools and communities, like we talked about earlier, but I think we've just seen so much benefit of the students speak about it so much, of how they love building friendships with each other that they wouldn't otherwise get to meet. And so I think that's just really rewarding. I also think we try to give the girls opportunities to speak into the business. So they sit on these business development committees that we have. So the finance committee goes through our expenses, and through that they'll realize, we might need to, look at some of the costs, or we're zesting lemons, but then throwing away the lemons. So then one of the students came with the idea of like, can we make fresh lemonade out of this? So they bring a lot of valuable ideas that, someone might not necessarily think a 14-year-old student would impact a business in such a positive way, but it's really cool to see the ideas that they can contribute, and how the program and future students will benefit from that too.
That's really awesome that you're letting younger people in on all those different meetings and getting to see kind of just like the grown-up world, and letting them just speak into any of the different parts of the business. That's awesome.
Yeah, they have so much to contribute to, like in spots that they maybe don't really think about having a skill within. Another story of a committee where students have been able to lead in a unique way is our finance committee. This past year, a lot of small businesses saw increases in costs for ingredients, stuff like that. And as students realized that on our finance committee, they were able to kind of look at the increase in costs of a few of our frozen fruit prices over the last few years. Then they kind of put that together, made a proposal for our board, and were able to decide to increase prices, which is a hard call for any small business. But as they were able to look through some of the data information, knowing our customers, thinking about our market and what we were here to do, they were able to propose that, and we did. So it's empowering to a student, I think, to be able to recognize that she has that ability to participate, contribute, and then make a change. And we benefit a lot from that too, and celebrate that.
Yeah. Are there any next steps on the calendar just as a business?
Yeah, this summer should be really fun. We have our food truck that starts up at the end of May and then runs throughout the summer. So that group of our oldest students in the program are starting to put the calendar together for that. So I think that'll be really fun. And then this summer we also do job shadows. So the students kind of get an opportunity to explore another local business in an area that they're interested in possibly pursuing a future career in. So that's really a fun piece of the program too.
Yeah. What are personal goals that each of you have? Just maybe away from TriPi?
This was a hard question for us to think about. It's so much of our lives, I think, are wrapped up in either the relationships with students and volunteers and the things that we do that way, or the business itself. So thinking of a personal goal is hard. I'm going to have a baby, so that's on my list of things to power through in a minute. But I think just generally just continuing to be in a position of learning. We talk a lot about, TriPi's value of diversity and inclusion and all of that, but we recognize that we're two white women leading the program as well, and so that just really requires some consistent valuing of learning and listening and being a part of letting students lead us as we learn alongside them. So that's always a personal goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of what Sarah said. I have two daughters, and so I think my hope for them is really the same as what I hope for our students at TriPi, just to understand their values and gifts and find ways to contribute those to our community and the world. So just to help foster that well.
Awesome. Any major goals for the business? Just thinking about, you've talked about letting the girls in on everything, but just any other bigger goals where you're like, we should try that sometime?
Always, and also different ideas all the time. I think one of the pieces our program would like to strengthen is the college prep piece. One of the cool things about a social enterprise teen employment program is that you can have these overarching values but still tailor the services to students individually as they come through. So this past, last fall, we had quite a few students that were seniors, and so we walked with them through ACT prep and scholarship applications and financial aid stuff. And then eventually, actually 3 of them are at UNI, so go Cats. But I think we just saw how valuable that was to walk alongside them as they got ready for that next step. So we'd like to strengthen that as more of a official strategic offering. Other program things.
We moved to the storefront in 2018 and then added the food truck in the summer of 2019, and then pandemic. And so I feel like this is we're coming into the first time that our program just feels like we have a handle on all of it for a little bit. So I think it's good to sit in this space for a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, it was lovely hearing from you, and we hope to see you both again. Thank you for sitting down with us. You can find out more about TriPi at www.tripi.org or at 522 Mulberry Street in downtown Waterloo. And a big thanks to you, our audience. Join us next week when we sit down with community entrepreneurs Amber Collins of the Soul Book Nook and Bobby Quang, owner of Bobby Q's Hawaiian Barbecue. This has been At UNI. Thanks for watching.